Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark. Now, obviously, we just got Scorched Earth. I'll go ahead and move this out of the way so you can see Scorched Earth just released. But while they were focusing on Scorched Earth, obviously, Ark has a lot more to focus on, and they've released a couple of massive updates for the future, including a whole bunch of things about next quarter, basically with the Center being ready to go, Aberration being ready to go, Scorched Earth fixes incoming. And it also indicates to me that if they're going to continue to kind of push things back a little bit, Ark 2 is in the future, but got a little bit of a news for you on that one. So anyways, I'm going to kind of talk about all that with the thing they just released. But hopefully this video helps you out. And if you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for that algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. Now, obviously, Scorched Earth just dropped. You can see that this is the new Ark, or I guess survivetheark.com. You can see that the Wyvern's got a rework. You got Phoenixes more easy to tame. You got the June bugs, Deathworms, Phasilosuchus is out there. I don't see an Oasisaur, honestly, which is kind of sad because I would hope that I would see one, but I don't. So while they were doing this, they released a really cool screenshot of what I would call is a Center 2.0. Center was one of the best maps in Ark Survival Evolved. However, as soon as it released, it literally stopped getting assistance and just turned into a map that people didn't want to play because it was like forgotten about. It was an amazing map, and there's a ton that they could do in order to make it better. These graphics look beautiful on it. They've got all kinds of trees. And if they're kind of changing how the actual water area works here, that would be so cool, because that floating island is one of the coolest concepts, I think, in the game. Now, anyways, let's continue, because obviously you can see they thank everyone for a successful Scorched Earth release, which was great, honestly. Uncovering Bob's Tall Tales. It's a good thing to add, but you don't need it to play the game, which is why I like it a lot. It's not required, but it certainly makes it fun. Now, there's a lot of stuff to it, right? Because obviously you can see that the next map they're going to release on June 3rd is the Center Ascended. Now, I understand people are upset that they pushed it back, but I'd much rather them push it back and give us a good product instead of release it and then everyone complains that they can barely play the map. Like when the island got pushed out, it was trash. No one could play. Graphics were terrible. Everything was miserable. It's gotten better over time. In the Scorched Earth one, it's the first time I've said bravo Ark in quite a while, but the Scorched Earth release for the most part was fantastic. They've had a few minor hiccups, including unofficial servers having some problems with getting updates and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's pretty cool. So it is what it is. Now, the Center, this thing is just a beautiful picture. If you haven't looked at it a little bit, the water looks so amazing, because the Center was it would have, I think, been the all-time great map if it got just a tiny little bit of TLC, because it was basically one of the early maps and just people forgot about it. But anyways, they're also adding the Shastasaurus. My assumption is it'll be in the actual outer islands. Maybe one or two of them will spawn underneath the island right here. Who knows? It's another free expansion. They've been very clear that this is another free one, 2 times the size of the island. Tolkien-like fantasy feel, and the tons of new surprises. That's what they're talking about. So I hope that with this additional time, they're going to add new surprises, because this is one of those maps that could have so much potential. I don't even know how to say it. It's probably one of the biggest potential maps that's out there, because it's got underwater biomes. It's got a whole underwater massive canyon. It's got bear caves. It's got a whole above ground map. It's got cool rivers. It's got multiple islands. It's got different zones. It's got redwoods. It's an amazing map, and if they put some special surprises on it, like maybe some extra creatures and some small caves, I think that they'll probably add, it could be the next step in the right direction for where Ark needs to go. Now, I understand some people are upset, but it is moving in the right direction, and that's what I'm hoping for. Now, they straight up admit that most of their team is moving on to that, but you can see that some people are still going to be dedicated to Scorched Earth bugs, and then some of them are diving into the Aberration expansion, which is huge, free keyword. Now people are like, well, they added the Bob's Tall Tales. Things still cost money. I don't really have a better comparison than if you go buy something from the store and it breaks a year later, right? You get a new one. Or if it breaks a year later, you send it in and they don't have a warranty anymore, you got to pay to fix it, stuff like that. Same thing with Ark, right? It's something that has existed for almost 10 years now. So that's kind of crazy to think about. And yeah, it needs money, because it's expensive to run games. Now, I know they've definitely made some mistakes, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everyone should pay, but I am telling you that it's not a required thing. So Bob's Tall Tales isn't required to play the game, and it's nice. But I also know that that's going to be the one thing they push out, so you get that for Aberration and the other maps. So I think it's a really cool concept. So not required to play, but it just adds a couple of little juicy treats. But they pushed out a Scorched Earth trailer. If you haven't played it, I'll show you that in just a second here. But all of this kind of leverage your skills, so on and so forth. Bob's Tall Tales. This is what I get excited for. Yes, I'm willing to pay $40 because it's going to have 1, 2, and 3 massive upgrades for certain maps. You can see that there's some sort of airship out here, an ATV that they used to have in the game, plus the train and some larger creatures. Obviously, they're going to add more stuff in once these maps get released, but it's going to be very interesting to actually see what they change, because at the end of the day, I like Ark. I love playing it. I understand people get upset, but for the most part, as long as you're not playing on official servers, Ark is a fantastic game. Play on solo player, play on unofficials where you've got good communities and stuff like that, and you will really enjoy the game. When you play on official servers and you've literally got to, like, I don't know how to say it better than, you've got to compete with people that have more time than you just lose. And you losing everything is one of the just terrible, like, I almost said a bad word. That's how it makes me feel, but it makes you feel like crap when you lose everything. So playing on an unofficial server or playing on your own makes you feel so much better because you don't lose anything. Everything works and you kind of move at your own pace. Now, that's kind of what I would encourage you to do, but it's, you know, we all know that's my opinion. So that's the Bob's Tall Tales. Now, here's some cool things. Do I need to pay for Scorched Earth? No, it's free. Bob's Tall Tales, you do have to pay for. You can also play and pay on the same map. So if I have a structure, I can make it for one of my tribe mates and they can use it. So it's like a kind of win-win. So only one person needs it. Anything special to enable Bob's Tall Tales, it's part of the actual core game. So you don't need that, which again, I like. That's an awesome thing that they did. And you can see Frontier Showdown for Scorched Earth, Steampunk Ascent for Aberration, and then Wasteland War for Extinction. The Aberration will release next, and I'm stoked to see some steampunk stuff they push. Aberration is my favorite map, so I am beyond excited for what they might or might not do for that map. But anyways, continuing down this list. So you can see that they got the premium mod spotlights. They've released another one just to add some stuff. Arcpocalypse servers. I don't like these, personal opinion, but you know, if you want to play them, play them. Excellent. Kind of sad. They kind of just like let this thing die because it used to be bunnies and eggs and stuff like that. And now it's just they can spawn with Easter colors. So yeah, that sucks. But I'm going to move past that. Community Corner. Obviously, there's some awesome stuff that people have throughout this entire thing. So definitely utilize some of that cool stuff. But that being said, this is a massive update for a few reasons. And I'm going to read underneath a little bit here, kind of between the lines. One, when we go into these updates about the timelines, right? Yes, they pushed a few of them back. And yes, there have been problems. They are moving in the direction they said they'd move. So I would say that Ark 2 is probably realistically early 2025. So about a year from now, while they kind of cook up Aberration. And once they finish, in my opinion, once they actually finish the production of Extinction and kind of do the mini maps, I don't know if you've seen their timescale in the middle, they will release Ark 2 sometime early next year would be my guess, because that's kind of their bread and butter. Like, that's where they need to go next. It's going to be a completely different game. It's going to be less survival, in my opinion. And it's going to be more of like a MMO from what I've seen. But we're not really sure. So I think they'll probably keep both alive because they want to keep the money coming in from both sources. That's just like a smart company perspective, right? But it is what it is. So that being said, that's my thoughts on Ark 2. Scorched Earth has been amazing. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this so you can see what I'm talking about. The graphics are fantastic on it. It's got trains, which is one of my favorite things. It runs very smoothly, and the actual change in the amount of stuff is very noticeable, but it's not like a complete overhaul. So the dunes look fantastic. The actual mountains and everything look amazing. There's little baked in, you can see them right here, like little bones and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So Scorched Earth was great. And on top of that, they give us another cool update. I'm just hopeful for the future. This is the first time in a little while that I've actually been stoked about something Ark release, because the island release, and I was like, yeah, it's fun. And I made some videos, but like in my core, I was like, this is riddled with bugs. It's It's not great. It's just a terrible map choice, because if you're going to release a game that we all have already, release more than just the island. And now they've released Scorched Earth. There's a little bit more freedom. The next map, I think, is kind of where they truly start to move forward with Ark Survival Ascended. Once they release the center, and then shortly after that, Aberration will be released. That's what I'm stoked for. So anyways, hopefully this video helps you out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like if you don't mind, and then consider subbing to the channel. All right, teach.